Welcome. You're listening to the Louie Minor Show. I'm your host, Bell County Commissioner Louie Minor. Today is November 16th, 2024. We have a lot to cover, so let's get started. Well, let's begin with the agenda for Monday, November 18th, 2024. The first thing we have is the invocation, then the Pledge of Allegiance. We have the consent agenda items. Consider approval of the minutes of the November 12th, 2024 meeting of the Commissioners Court. We have personnel, budget amendments, claims, accounts payable, payroll, restitution, jury pay. And we have consider adoption of the recommended compensation adjustment for positions at the Communication Center as presented with an effective date of 12/1/2024. Result with no additional budget expenses for FY25 using Communication Center payroll reserve to fund for FY 2025. Reduction of payroll reserve of $152,575, including benefits. Then we have consider approval of the Texas Forestry Service Grant Match Fund request in the amount of $11,111 for Morgan's Point Resort Fire Department. Then we have F, consider approval of the Texas Forestry Service Grant Match Fund request in the amount of $27,778 for Bartlett Volunteer Fire Department. And then last item on the consent agenda, we have consider authorizing the county judge to enter into a contract with Co-File Technology, Inc. for critical records management, indexing, imaging, vital records for the county clerk's office, not to exceed a cost of $837,258.28 that was previously approved in the county clerk's FY 2024-2025 record management plan. Then we have, that's everything for the consent agenda. Then we have county engineer consider and approve the minor plat of Wood Road Addition, being a 6.74 acre 2-lot 1-block subdivision located in Bell County Precinct 1. Then the next item, consider and approve the acceptance of all roads for maintenance within the Armstrong Estates Phase 2 final plat located in Bell County Precinct 2. Then the next item, consider and approve and accept all roads for the maintenance within Frederick Estates Phase 2A final plat located in Bell County Precinct 2. Then consider and approve and accept all roads for maintenance within Eagle Ranch final plat located in Bell County Precinct 2. Next item, consider and approve the acceptance of all roads for maintenance in Flint Ridge 2 final plat located in Bell County Precinct 2. Then the final item for county engineers, consider and approve the acceptance of all roads for maintenance within Turnbow Ranch Phase 1 final plat located in Bell County Precinct 4. Next item on the agenda is canvass the results of the November 5th, 2024 general election pursuant to Chapter 67 of the Texas Election Code. Next item, consider and approve the fire response area changes for Nolanville Fire Department, Central Bell County Fire and Rescue, and Sparta Volunteer Fire Department in Bell County. The next item is consider reclassifying one of the 6 foreman positions in the Bell County Road and Bridge Department to be an assistant director, Road and Bridge, resulting in a budget increase of $906, including benefits. Then the next item will be closed session, Texas Government Code Section 551.072, deliberations relating to the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property if deliberation is in an open meeting, would have a detrimental effect on the position of the governmental body in negotiations with a third person. Belton Independent School District. Then the next item is consider taking any action required or warranted relating to the matter of real property as discussed in closed executive session. That is everything for the regular agenda. Now we will switch over to the workshop agenda. First item is reports and updates from various county offices and departments. B, capital improvement projects, project manager, update on jail expansion and temporary jail facilities, Killeen Annex, Diversion Center renovations, and then discuss FY 2024 CIP plan. Next item is discuss Bell County Kennel Club events at Cadence Bank Center. Let's see. Then discuss fireworks ban for December 20th through January 1st, 2025, local government code, fire marshal. Then we have discuss U.S. Board of Geographic Names proposal to rename Castle Mountain to Renegade Hill. And then the last item for workshop is closed session, Texas Government Code 551.072, deliberations relating to the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property related to prescribed properties in Killeen, Texas, the deliberation of which in an open meeting will have detrimental effect on the position of the governmental body in negotiations with a third person. And that is it for the agenda. We do have some retirements parties coming up that are on the agenda that the commissioners may or may not attend. We have November 21st, 2024 at 3 p.m., the retirement reception honoring Henry Garza, District Attorney of the 27th Judicial District of Texas. Let's see, December 3rd at 3 p.m., celebration of service in honor of State Representative Hugh Shine. That'll be in Belton. December 12th, retirement party honoring Sheriff Eddie Lang, Chief Deputy TJ Cruz, Captain Donnie Adams, Captain Larry Lentz. That'll be at the Cadence Bank Center. And then the final one, December 19th, retirement reception honoring Judge John Gant and Judge Jack Jones. That'll be in Belton at the Justice Center. And that's all the retirements coming up. So you can hear all that on Monday or attend the meeting if you want. And let's see. What do we got next? I guess let's talk about, there were two articles in the paper this week that I was in. We'll talk about the one that came out, I guess, today. Headline reads, Commissioner Minor says Trump's victory will have a devastating effect on local immigrants. So the paper called me and asked if, since I was a surrogate for the Harris campaign, if I would be willing to talk about the elections and, just everything that's been going on. So I said yes, went and spoke to the paper about it. And I just let the paper know that, I'm starting to hear immigrants are getting very worried now that, their future might be in jeopardy. And, it is a scary proposition. Now, keep in mind, everyone's going to be yelling and screaming. And I got a phone call today. I I got a phone call on Friday to the office, and it was a lady constituent, read the article, and was mad, and called me and told me, I need to support my constituents. I represent my constituents, not immigrants. Um, and I get what she's saying, but what she doesn't realize is a majority of these immigrants that are here legally. They are parolees. They have sought asylum. They are here under temporary protected status. They are deferred action dreamers that are here. So they do have a legal status. They are immigrants that are here legally. And the President Trump is talking about doing away with all those statuses. And, they kind of toned it back. You're hearing everyone, at least on the Republican side, start toning it back that, no, we're not going to go after everyone. We're going to be going after the bad guys. We're going to, the criminals, that's who we're going to go after. And, there's not a million criminals out there waiting to be deported. So, hey, this is what the American people voted for. And, if they're willing to fund it, because my understanding to deport 1 million people, that's going to take around $80 billion with a B, billion. That was one estimate that I heard on watching the news. 1 year, 1 billion or 80 billion, more than $80 billion for 1 million people. And so that's scary. And I asked the lady that called me and complained, I said, ma'am, can you tell a legal immigrant from an illegal immigrant? And she said, I sure can. It's the way their hair is cut, the way they talk, the way they dress, the way they look. And she just proved my point exactly. You can't tell. We have racial profiling laws. You got to have probable cause that a crime has been committed. And what is going to be your probable cause? Everything that lady just said that I just told you? Their color of their skin, how they talk. That's scary. And I think if they start going down that road, the American public, Texas residents, Bell County residents, they're not going to stand for that. And there'll be protests. There will be advocates. There'll be lawsuits. And yeah, like I said, scary stuff. Scary stuff. So to that person that called and complained, if they live in Precinct 4, if they live in Bell County, they are a constituent. I don't remember reading anywhere that says that constituents are only U.S. citizens, or constituents are only legal immigrants or illegal immigrants. It's everyone that lives and resides in my county, in Precinct 4. We have a duty to protect and serve everyone. and we provide indigent health for everyone, regardless of your citizenship status. That's the law. So, anyways, that was in the paper, and something that I was dealing with today, Friday. I'm recording this on Friday, and then something that we had the Bell County Water Symposium on Wednesday. That was November 12th. I attended that. There was a lot of people there, a lot of elected officials, a lot of water purveyors, a lot of city personnel from across the county. I sat with my friend from Williamson County, County Commissioner Terry Cook. She always comes up to the water symposium. And during the break sessions, talking to people, I saw Kevin with the Killeen Daily Herald. Yeah, I know Kevin. I talked to him a lot. And so I went up, talked to him, spoke to him, and I told him my thoughts on the water, on the Water Alliance, the proposed Water Alliance. Now, let me read what the paper said real quick for you. It had under a commissioner disagreement. That's what was the title in the article. If you go down, but it says this is what the paper wrote. Prior to the panel discussion, Bell County Commissioner Louie Minor D. Killeen, who was in attendance, said he was still not convinced about the Water Alliance and that it would take a lot to change his mind. He said Killeen has enough water until 2027, citing the Brazos River Authority. He claims that water rates would rise, as well as county taxes, if an alliance were created. He also said he was worried about developers benefiting from the alliance at the expense of taxpayers and questioned why the city of Temple had not committed to the Water Alliance. Why is Temple not on board with this? He asked. That is the real question. So those were my comments to the paper on the Water Alliance. Now, keep in mind, Judge Blackburn, I guess, has been working on this for months, years, this Water Alliance. But how I found out about the Water Alliance was it coming up in court. An agenda item about a month ago to support the Water Alliance. We talked about it in workshop for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Wasn't very long. I had a lot of questions. Didn't get a lot of answers that were satisfactory to me. And, Bell County does not buy water, does not sell water. So what are we doing getting involved? What is Bell County's role in this? That was my question. And like I said, I didn't get good answers. And then after the elections, I just happened to be talking to one of my friends, Sandra Blankenship. She sits on WCID #1 as a director. That's an elected position. So I was calling and congratulating her on her reelection, and we were talking. And then she just, asked me, hey, are you going to the meeting? This was like last Friday. And she said, hey, are you going to the meeting? And I'm like, what meeting? Judge Blackburn is having a Water Alliance meeting, and, all these people are going, and it went out to everyone. I'm like, well, that's funny. I didn't get an invite to it. So I showed up to the meeting. And Representative Brad Buckley was there. Uh, Senator Flores was there, and the contractor, the consultant that the county went into partnership with to pay for with WCID, or maybe it was Clearwater. I forgot one of the two. But Stan Schluter, former state representative, to push this bill. So I got a lot of questions answered there at that meeting, but I'm still not convinced. How much is it going to cost? How much are rates going to go up? Where is the water coming from? And where is it going to be stored? And I mean, think about it like this. There were about 350 people there at the water meeting that was on Wednesday. And they were being told that this water alliance is not a taxing authority, which it will not be, because a taxing authority cannot get approved by the state legislature. So what does that mean? It has to be paid through water rates. And if the county doesn't sell water, Clearwater Underground Conservation District doesn't sell water. So what do you have to do to participate financially in all this? You're going to have to get it from your tax base. So that means you're going to have to raise taxes to cover it. It's pretty simple, right? And everyone there, they were raising their hand, concerned about water. I did not hear one person, and I would venture to say, I'd bet $100 that not one person there cared about future water needs for the subdivision that is yet to be built in Bell County. They don't care about that. They don't care about have enough water for that future subdivision. They care about when they turn their faucet on, is water going to come out? I don't care about the future subdivision later down the road, if they have water or not. Bell County doesn't sell water. That is something that the cities have to manage. That is something that the water districts have to manage. That is something that Clearwater has to manage when it comes to underground water. So that's what happened there with the water meeting. But then I got an email today from the executive director of Clearwater. That's the Underground Water Utility District. And it was a very lengthy, very in-depth email that he sent to me and the press in response to the article, and pointed out that the article had some misstatements, printed some misstatements about the city of Temple, that the city of Temple is now on board, which is okay. That's great. At the time, I wasn't lying. At the time I spoke with the paper about it, the last word to me from Judge Blackburn is that City of Temple was not on it, was not on board in support of the Water Alliance. So that's what I told the paper. But anyways, in the email, he went on and discussed how important it should be for me to support this, because the groundwater in Precinct 4 and in Precinct 2 is depleting, and he used a lot of words. Uh, I believe one of them was a lot of fractured wells, meaning that the water table in the underground aquifer is not one big area. It's like split up into I guess chambers here and there. So that water's depleting. It's not one large source like that. It's in pockets, so to speak. And I told him, I said, well, y'all don't sell water. They mentioned ASR. ASR is underground storage and recovery, which is I think it's a great idea. When we have excess water, like we did at the beginning of this year, we got a lot of rain. Our lakes were at 50% full. It was actually looking to be a very scary year for the county, because if we would have went into the summer with no rain and continued on our drought with our lakes at 50% full, yeah, it would have been a bad year for the county. But luckily we got a lot of rain, filled up the lakes to well over 100%. But that's what they were talking about. This, whenever we get excess rain events like that we'll be able to store excess water back into the aquifer, treated water back into the aquifer. That's called aquifer storage and recovery. We have one that Fort Cavazos is building right now with WCID number 1. And then I think there's a proposed one that they're going to be building on the east side of the county, and Fort Cavazos is on the west side of the county. They're going to do one on the east side of the county, out in the outskirts of Temple. I guess they're doing a pilot well now to find the best place for it. But I was telling the director that I was talking to for Clearwater Underground Water Conservation District that if all these wells are fractured in Precinct 4, then there's nothing that we can do. Even if we did ASR and pump water down, that's not going to help them. That's not going to help those residents out there that he's referring to in that email by trying to say, hey, this water alliance is going to fix that problem. It isn't. The wells are going dry. The only way that we're going to be able to fix that is to get them on a system from a city or some type of utility. And he concurred with that. So, but he also mentioned a bunch of things. I mean, we talked for like 40 minutes. I definitely appreciated the in-depth conversation with the water district, and he had a lot of historical information that I was unaware of. Definitely very, very knowledgeable on water, and I, like I said, I appreciate that. That's a whole lot more information that I ever got from our county judge, and those are the things that I'm looking for. I never said I'm not against this water alliance. But what I said is that, we have to be transparent and honest with the people. That's one of the big things that's on the slide deck when the county judge is talking to people. I've already saw it twice. It says, oh, this is a non-taxing entity. So subliminally, people are going to say, okay, I'm not going to get taxed for this. It's not going to cost me anything. But that's not true. So, we need to know, you're not going to go buy a car, sign a contract for a car or for a house and not know how much it's going to cost and not know what the payments are going to be. And that's kind of what the judge is asking for. The Hayes County Water Alliance person was there, and they gave some great information about what they did and how they stood up and all that. And they said that their water system that they're doing and building is going to cost $400 million. They're almost done. I think they've been in for about, I think, close to 20 years, he was saying. But yeah, $400 million. It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And the county, Hayes County, is not involved in that water district. So, yeah, there's a lot of, if that's the model that they're trying to emulate, then, Bell County's not, or Bell County shouldn't be involved because Hayes County wasn't involved. But, like I said, I'm not opposed to this. We just need to be honest with the people. We need to let them know the potential of how much it's going to cost, and how are we going to get water to Precinct 4 and Precinct 2 residents whenever the wells dry out? Because the Water Alliance is not going to be able to do it. And what the executive director was telling me, he kind of just threw this out like, we'll get, maybe city of Killeen will be able to, put water lines out there through the Water Alliance. But, then they'll have to get annexed into the city. And hey, I know that is going to be a no-go with people that live out in the county. People moved out to the county to get away from the city so they don't have to pay city taxes. They don't have to be under the city's regulations and city code enforcements and all that stuff. Trust me, I know that is a non-starter with people that live out in the county. They do not want to be annexed into a city. But if they have no choice because they have no water, that might be a different situation. That may render land out there, not valuable because you don't have water. You don't have a water source. So that might be something where, one of the utilities has to go out there and spend millions and millions of dollars to put water out there. But, that's my 2 cents on the water district. It'll be going in this legislative session. Representative Brad Buckley and Senator Pete Flores, they both said that they would advocate and push for this. So I'm assuming that they're going to put a bill in. And speaking of bills, the legislature for the 89th session of the Texas legislature, they already started filing bills. And let me see. I'm on the Texas Legislature online website, and you could do just a query real quick of all the bills that have been filed so far. And as of today, there are 1,644 bills that have been filed. And they've already talked about what's going to be priority number one is the voucher bill. That's going to be priority number one. And I guess we'll see what other bills are filed. Next week I have a meeting. The Conference of Urban Counties, CUC, that'll be Wednesday in Austin. And I'm excited for that one because the guest speaker that we're going to have is Scott Braddock. He is with the Quorum Report, and I listened to his podcast, The Texas Take. Very, very informative. If you're a Texas political junkie, that's definitely one of the ones you have to listen to. And so yeah, I'm excited to meet him and hear his thoughts on what's going on. And because everyone's going to be looking at the speaker's race. Who's going to be the speaker? Are we going to have Speaker Phelan, or is it going to be someone else? The Democratic Party, they have put some people up, so we'll see. And then, also speaking of the Democratic Party, in our last our last podcast, I had mentioned that it was the state chair was going to resign, and he did in fact resign. So the Democratic Party, we do not have a state chair, and we will actually are in the process of selecting a new state chair. We call them SDEC. That's this Senate District Committee members. They select who the chair will be to fill the vacancy, and it'll only be a temporary filling until the state convention, which would be in the summer of 2026, and that's when we will elect a chair. But we're giving input to them, at least us in the in the county party of. We want to hear who's been nominated, who's nominating themselves, who's interested, and who we plan on supporting. Definitely want to be involved in that because it matters who's winning, who's in that position. Another thing that happened this week is Senator John Cornyn. He was trying to be the leader of the Senate. That did not go through for him. So I believe his cohort, his buddy, Ted Cruz, did not support him. So he is not the leader. So a lot of people are talking. It's been rumored a couple of times. There is no love lost between Ken Paxton and John Cornyn. And I believe Ken Paxton is looking will probably challenge John Cornyn in the primary of 2026. So I'm sure that's going to be interesting, unless he gets picked up somewhere in the Trump presidency. Trump has really been surprising a lot of us. And what's even more surprising is, from what I've been hearing on, interviews, that a lot of Republican senators, they're like, hey, Trump won. He has a mandate. We got to give him what he wants, got to give the people what they want. And here are some of the picks. Let's see, White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. Apparently that was Trump's campaign manager. I haven't heard. She definitely seems like a, run of the mill Republican, strategist, nothing out of the ordinary, just the type of person to get stuff done. And, that's the type of person I would expect for chief of staff. I don't know much about her other than, like I said, they said she's fairly normal person and will tell Trump what he needs to hear, the good and the bad. Then we have Secretary of State. The nomination is Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Again, another, it doesn't raise any red flags, someone like that. But here are some that did raise flags this week and have a lot of us scratching our head. For Attorney General, Congressman Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is the congressman that ousted Speaker Kevin McCarthy. and he's also under it. He was under House investigation, ethics investigation. That has ended because he resigned as soon as he was nominated because they was about to release his ethics report, and it wasn't going to be good. That he had sex with an underage 17-year-old girl. And so, yeah, there's a lot of issues with Matt Gaetz. I don't know if he'll get appointed. Then you have Deputy Attorney General Tom Blanche, and that guy is one of Trump's defense attorneys. They said normally that would be frowned upon in political appointments, but given the fact of all these other people that are kind of out there, he will probably squeak by. Let's see, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, vaccine denier, and I believe I heard Donald Trump say he's going to let him, tear everything up, and I guess that's the type of people we need. That's going to go into well-established, government bureaucracy and go and tear everything up. The other one or two that I heard was getting a lot of attention for his appointments. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. This is a Fox News host, weekend host, not even during the prime time. He's just a weekend host. He's a veteran. I guess he went to Iraq or Afghanistan war. I don't know much about him. But he wasn't very high up, just an officer. But he said some pretty outlandish things about women in the military. And we'll see what happens there with that one. Then we have Secretary of Homeland Security, Governor Kristi Noem. Remember her? She was the one that she killed one of her puppies or something like that. She had wrote in her book. So, that was an interesting book. And then Director of National Intelligence, former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. Congresswoman Gabbard, I actually really liked her a lot whenever I first learned about her and started hearing about her. She was out of Hawaii, Democrat, veteran, and I have no earthly idea what happened to Tulsi. She is now Republican. She's now MAGA. And from my understanding, she had a lot of ties since leaving office with some government agency or governments outside of the United States that may question her ability to serve. Like I said, I haven't kept up much with her since she turned all MAGA, but yeah. Then he also had put he's forming some quasi-government, the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge. Actually, I made a lot of money with Dogecoin, but that's another story. But Department of Government Efficiency, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. So he's definitely going to have a cast of characters. And so will they all get appointed? I don't know. But anyways, we will keep an eye on it. So thanks for listening. We have a lot of stuff to look forward to, a lot of events going on, a lot of hard work that we have to do, and a lot to prepare for, because we know what kind of crazy is coming because we lived through it already during the first Trump presidency. And I think it's going to be even worse this go around than what it was last time. So stay tuned, get involved, and let's roll up our sleeves. This work is not going to get done unless you do it, unless we do it. So let's get to work.